Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We are now in lesson 5, Group Functions, part 1. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the available group functions and describe the use of group functions. What if you were writing an article for the school newspaper and to make a point, you wanted to know the average age of the students at your school? You could ask each student their age in years, months, and days. Add up all of these numbers and then divide by the number of students in your school. That would be one way, a very slow and difficult way to find this information. In SQL, we could use the group function. Group functions operate on set of rows to give one result per group. If you take a look based on this example, we have a lot of employees. We have 107 total employees in our database. But if you want to find the maximum salary in the employees table, we can have only one value of result. In SQL, the following group functions can operate on whole table or on a specific grouping of rows. Each function returns one result. We can have average to find the average value of n numbers. We can have maximum to find the highest value, minimum to find the lowest value, sum to total up the values, and the last one we have count to get number of rows. If you take a look here, all of the group functions are ignoring null values, means null values will not be calculated in any of group function. If you want to make the function consider only non-duplicate values, we can use distinct keyword. All of these group functions can be used with any data type, the character, varchar2, date, and number. Let's take a look on the syntax. We have select group function, parenthesis column, from table, where you put the condition, or the by you put the column to be sorted by the SQL. For example here, select maximum salary from employees, where department ID equals to 90. However, if you take a look, the second SQL, select last name, first name from employees, where salary equals to minimum salary. This one would be wrong, because why? Group function cannot be used in the where clause. Let's take a look on the example. Group function can be used with any data type. For example here, select minimum salary, maximum salary, and sum salary from employees. So if we execute this one, even though we have 107 employees here, however, the group function will only give you one result. It operates on all of these salary columns. Okay, it operates on these salary columns, so they will check one by one and give you the minimum. So we can have only one minimum, one maximum, and one sum. Okay, if you want to add another condition, for example, you want to find maximum, minimum, and sum of the salary for employees in department 50. So what can we do? We add a condition where department ID equals to 50. So if we execute this one, we get the minimum salary, maximum salary, and sum of the salary for employees inside department 50 only. So this is the group function with numbers. What if I want to change to characters? For example, minimum, last name, and maximum, last name from employees where department ID equals to 50. So minimum last name, it will follow alphabetical order, Atkinson and Weiss here. Okay, so if you take a look, what if I want to do sum of last name? Can this be done? Can this be done? Of course not. Why? Because last name is a character. Character cannot be total up. Because sum we want to total up the number, and last name is not a number, so of course it cannot be done here. Let's take a look at minimum, the group function with dates. We have hire date in our employees table. For example, select minimum hire date, maximum hire date from employees where department ID equals to 50. So if we execute this one, minimum hire date will give you the oldest date, and maximum hire date is the latest date. Okay, the latest date. So we also, let's take a look, what if you want to sum the hire date? Can it be done? Can you guess? Of course, it cannot be done because date is not a number. Okay, because sum can only be used with number. Let's move on with average. If you take a look, if you want to find average last name, can it be done? Average with the characters? Of course not, because average also is a calculation. We total up every single value and we divide by the number of participants. So of course last name is not a number. It cannot be, we cannot use the average function. Same goes with hire date. Select average hire date. We cannot get the value. But what if I change? Select average salary. So if you take a look here, we can get the result. If you take a look, the average salary for employees in department 50 is 3,475.56. Okay, so average also can be used with number. But what if I want to do average of commission percentage? Okay, select average commission percentage from employees. So if we do this one, we get 0.22 here. Okay, however, we know that there are a lot of employees. Who did not have any commission. Okay, the commission is null. Remember, the group function ignore null values. So the average here might not be accurate. So what can we do? We can convert this null value to become 0, so that the calculation of average will be accurate. So NVL, the commission percentage, to become 0. Okay, so if we execute this one, take a look, we have 0.072. So this is the average commission for all 107 employees. If not, the average will only divide by number of people who has commission only. But we want to find the average commission for all of the employees, so the null values should be included. But remember, the group function ignore null values. What makes this person has no commission? We can convert this null to become 0. Let's move on to count. So for example, what if I want to know how many employees inside department 50? So one of the ways that we can do is we select employee ID last name from employees, where department ID equals to 50. So if we execute this one, we see how many number of rows written, 45. Then I will know there are 45 employees inside department 50. But one of the easiest way to do it, we can count all. What does it mean by count all here? We count number of rows. So if I do this one, I will get the same answer. Okay, the number of employees inside department 50 is 45. But normally we will count something that is unique. For example, what makes employee unique? Employee ID. So we can count the employee ID. Count employee ID from employees where department ID equals to 50. Then we will know we get 45 also, because why? Each employee can only have one employee ID. It is unique, so we can count the employee ID to know how many employees inside this department. Same goes, what if I said I want to know how many members inside this class? So I can count your student ID, because student ID is unique for each student. Then what if I want to know how many employees receive a commission? So what I can do, I can just count the commission percentage. Okay, what if I count commission percentage? Because of the group function here will ignore null values. Okay, will ignore null values. Then if that person has the commission, it will be counted. Okay, if that person has commission, it will be counted as 1. So if we execute this one, we will know there are 35 employees who receive a commission in this company. Since the group function is ignoring null values, then this method is quite useful. As we know, each employee has the job ID, okay, inside database. But if you take a look, the job ID is repetitive. Why? Because there is normal for people to have the same job designation in the company. For example, what if I want to count job ID in the company. Okay, so we will get 107 because why? If you select job ID, if we just select job ID from employees, each and every employee has job. Okay, each and every employee has their own job. However, it is repetitive, so that's why we get 107 rows just now. So if you execute count job ID, we have 107 because the duplicated values also is being counted. But if you want to know how many unique job ID inside this company, we can select this thing, job ID. So if I do this one, how many rows do I get? 19. So I know there are 19 different jobs inside these companies. But what if I want to know the number of rows written? I can just count this thing job ID. Okay, then I know that there are 19 unique jobs inside this company. Same goes if we select manager ID from employees. So these are all employees that has a manager. There is one employee who did not have manager because it is King actually, because King is the president, so of course president has no manager. So if we take a look, there are 107 rows written. Okay, but what if I want to know how many unique manager inside this company? So if I select distinct manager ID, I can see there are only not including the null, we have 18 different managers inside this company. So if I want to know the numbers, straight away we can count this thing, manager ID from employees. Then we will know there are 18 managers inside this company. So I guess that's all for now. See you again in the next part. And remember,
duduk je kat rumah.